I'm sorry, just to be honest.
Hold on.
I have his picture in my head.
It's not Mozart.
All right, time's up.
Go ahead. Who is it?
Evan Coleman.
Coleman.
That's right.
Atlanta.
Mr. 1-2
No,
punch.
San Fran.
Yes, Mr. New San Fran. Mr. 2,000 yards his senior year. That got him drafted 73rd overall. But listen, he's been part of a 1-2 combo with Devonta Freeman. Fantasy owners have been licking their chops for the opportunity to Coleman to take over full time. You took him. And listen, you got your shot last year, week 6, when Freeman went down for the season, and Coleman takes over and did diddly squat with it.
I took him this year.
With 800. Well, hopefully that works out for you. But finished last season with 800 yards, only 4 touchdowns on the ground, but did make up for it with 5 touchdowns through the air, despite only having 230 receiving yards, which is odd. But I would think Mr. Coleman, from what you've expected out of him, has been a disappointment. He's only had 3 100-yard games to this point in his career. And last year, I think part of the problem was that he was 23rd in rushing attempts. I mean, he only had 167, and that's behind a guy like Doug Martin. So whatever you guys want to take from that.
I took it because of Shanahan's offense usage. That's why. He did well in 16.
So that is a light at the end of the tunnel here. Coleman's issues could definitely be attributed to these past couple of years without Shanahan. So moving out to San Fran, under the reins of Shanahan again, with competition being a banged-up Jerick McKinnon and an often banged-up Matt Breida, we're going to get our opportunity to see this year if Coleman is the star that we've been waiting for, or just a fizzle, just a satellite burning through the atmosphere and crashing into the earth.
Shanahan came out in his press conference yesterday, and he said Coleman is my running back number 1. He's going to be getting most of the carries. He's going to be used rushing and receiving. And that's why I picked him up as my flex option, because of the fact of his receiving ability. He's shown in the past he can do it, especially with the 8 touchdowns, also with the rushing touchdowns. I'm not using it as a primary, but I moved him to flex, and I think it's a solid. I didn't pick him up early either. I picked him way late as a flex because I ended up grabbing my receivers early. But either way, I think Coleman, I think he's due for a big year this year.
Coleman is not a star, is probably never going to be a star, but I've said it before. The Shanahan system is guaranteed to do one thing, if nothing else. It will make you appear to be a star if you're a running back. And so I think Coleman is an excellent pick, and I think he's an excellent pick that you can get out in the last few rounds of our draft, because people are going to think about his last 2 seasons, and they're going to sleep on him, and they're not going to be thinking about what system he thrived in and where he now is again. Therefore, I think it's worth picking up Coleman, but you want to sneak him on the back part of your roster so that other people, don't pick up your trends there. But I think you can steal Coleman and really bolster your depth at running back on your team.
If it's late enough, I mean, you know that. I mean, Shanahan, regardless of who it is going to have a very productive back this year. So if it's late enough, I love it. The problem for me in the mocks that I've been doing is he's going a little early for my taste. So I end up waiting until close to the last rounds and picking up Matt Breida, a guy who they've reportedly been using, quote-unquote, all over the place during practice. A guy who, I don't know if you guys saw this report, but Breida was clocked at like 22 or 24 miles per hour last season on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Boy can run. I'll give him that.
He certainly can run, but he gets banged up a lot. So, I mean, they're going to need all of those guys.
If you run that fast and then run into something, what the hell do you think's going to happen? Okay? Like, have you ever drove a car at 25 miles an hour into, I don't know, like a stop sign pole? in these pop can things nowadays, it looks like he got hit by a Mack truck. And this is a human body. I mean, I don't blame the kid.
I'll say this. I've never driven into a pole, but I did try to ever so carefully squeeze my car. Maybe you'll remember this little area by First Niagara Bank on Main Street in Cortland.
Oh, God. It was a struggle. It was a struggle.
There was a little opening.
Well, it looks like they hung up on us. I guess I will try to give them a call back. They must be getting excited. Da-da-da. We will call them back real quick, and Jay will just talk ever so awfully. You know, I think it's very funny that these guys both hung up on me at the same time. That's what I think is hilarious. And they don't even know what's going on. So now we're about to call them back and pick on them hellaciously for getting excited arguing with each other.
Okay.
My hands were nowhere near that. That was all you two. So,
dude, I haven't even had touched my phone in over 10 minutes.
My
I've been sitting here waiting.
My phone was nowhere near my hands. I have to call Dillon back now.
It wasn't me. I haven't touched it.
It was all Dave's fault, and that's what we're going with. Dave. It was Dave's fault. He hung up on us. Now we're calling Dillon back. Don't what the heck me, you two. You guys hung up on me in mid-sentence.
We didn't want to give away the secret parking spot of First Niagara Bank.
I guess either that or was First Niagara Bank just cut us off. Cell signal lost.
All right, what little spot, Dillon? Remind me of what little spot.
Okay, so I am sorry. It's such a stupid story, but there's just a tiny little opening in the guardrails where you could cut through the parking lot. And I thought my little Ford Focus hatchback was going to make it. And sure enough, I woke up the next morning.
I remember this car.
Straight all the way from the middle of my front passenger door to the middle of my rear passenger door. So, yeah, sometimes, like you said, Jay, you can be going at a very conservative speed and do a lot of damage. So I see why Brody gets banged up.
That was a very long-winded way, folks, of agreeing with my genius way of saying things.
You guys ready for the last chance you player?
Okay, what is it?
The last chance you player? So this guy, and I might give it away here with the very first clue, this guy was the second overall pick in 2015. He was a Heisman winner, a Davey O'Brien Best Quarterback Award winner, a Walter Camp and Maxwell Award winner given to the nation's top college football player.
Mariota.
It is none other than well-known Super Marcus Mariota out of Oregon.
The only man in NFL history to complete his first playoff pass to himself. Touchdown.
And get injured 2 plays later.
So that's...
From what I read... I think that Johnson did that too, but it wasn't in the playoff, which is interesting because Johnson was never known for his wheels. Anyhow.
Oh, you think?
Boy. Yeah. It's been quite a career for Marcus. His rookie season was cut short due to injury. In 2016, he had a very nice year, 3,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, only 9 picks. And then we go downhill from there. 3,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, 18 picks. 2,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks. So Marcus is fizzling out as the years go by. Could be stability in the coaching changes. Could be the weapons he's had to work with. Finally has Corey Davis, which hasn't really panned into much. The team added A.J. Brown this season. Delaney Walker is coming back off of injury. And if you're not aware, the new offensive coordinator in Tennessee was the tight end's assistant for Tennessee. So if you're a Delaney Walker fan, you might be in for a good year again. But hopefully Marcus experiences some sort of rejuvenation. I believe if he doesn't have at least a solid year, not even a spectacular year, if he doesn't have a nice solid year, over 3,000 yards, over 20 touchdowns, I think it's going to be time for Tennessee to close the book on their Marcus Mariota story.
Yep. I think Ryan Tannehill will take the reins over if Mariota can't get it. I mean, they traded for him for a reason, and maybe Tannehill, he was also injury prone too. Maybe he just needed a new atmosphere, and it's not like Tennessee doesn't have a bad O-line. I mean, they've got some mean O-line in there with Taylor Lewan starting off with, and I was really hoping for Mariota in the past couple of years. Yeah, he's going to miss 4, so then starting without the left tackle.
Okay.
Well,
but the thing is, though, I tried to hope for Mariota year in and year out, but like you said when you were describing him, it's just been nothing but downhill. And I avoid him in any fantasy. There's nothing really to be a positive about there.
When I watch Marcus Mariota, he's a frustrating kid, and not. I mean, I don't mean to be in a mean way or anything, because he's got the personality you look for in a franchise quarterback. He seems to have a personality that doesn't rub people the wrong way, and they're not annoyed by him. They're willing to, kind of back him up. He might not be the rah-rah guy, but for being an NFL player, the one thing that I think has bothered me with all of who I thought he was as a person, or at least what you get projected-wise is, and you don't know for sure because you don't know everything that's reported, but his mechanics are what his problem is. He's not consistent. Like, the thing that people can definitely lump together and agree on when it comes to quarterbacks that they argue about, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, when you break down their throwing mechanics, just their quick release and their arm, it doesn't matter what the rest of their body is doing. That arm and release are identical, and they've broke this down when ESPN used to do sports science. Those two have the identical release from the same point. They have the exact same time within like just millionths of a second of each other. And it doesn't matter, even though Brady doesn't do it as contorted sometimes, it just doesn't matter where their body is. Whereas Mariota, he's like a Stafford. He's got like 15 different arm angles. Yeah, 15 different arm angles he's throwing from. There's no consistency between his feet and his arm. And you would think by now with the money and stuff, you would hear more of him working with somebody private that's to work on those small mechanics, because for a quarterback, those are so important. The greats, you can watch their film, and no matter if you agree or disagree, you can always find those consistent things in their game and their mechanics. That's why they can be, as great as they are. That's the thing with Mariota. I don't know if he's putting in the extra amount of work it takes to take those steps to be a consistent NFL quarterback. I think maybe, even though he's a good kid, sometimes even good kids and good personalities can kind of get in their own way and not utilize their skills to the best by getting coaching and working on their flaws as much. That's the thing I see with Mariota. I don't know what to think about the kid, because I just don't think that he's developed mechanically for being 4 years, almost 5 years in the league.
Oh, I fully agree, Jay. That right there, what you just said, mechanics is everything for a QB that's trying to develop. I mean, what you said, and with Mariota, and with what I said with Mitch, and what you said with Stafford, there's just, when you go watch all their films, you'll see 10 different throwing styles in one game. And that's what I know what you mean by frustrating, because it's just like, as a quarterback and you want to succeed, you have to be able to have the same style throw every single time. Doesn't matter where you throw from on your body, every time.
If Dave, if I can just cut you off, so maybe we can simplify it for the people that aren't nerdy in football. If I can simplify it in layman's terms, if a fighter or a boxer, to be specific, a boxer develops a jab. It's his most utilized tool, but when you develop that jab and you hone it in, you don't throw 15 different style jabs. You have one jab, and it's highly effective.
It's the same thing over and over again.
It's the same thing, and you can fire that thing off 400 times in a row, and it's going to look the same. It's very important. If you want to find a boxer who gets knocked out